Hey guys, it's Zander here, and today we're looking at something a little bit different. Today we're going to be looking at Commander 2019, the pre-con Commander decks that are being released coming near the end of this month. I'm going to touch on the commanders that are in the deck and then give you some cards that I think could improve the decks a little bit. If you want to have a look at the decks, there's already been spoiled. I'll leave links in the description to see the actual decks. I don't want to be touching on that too much because other content creators have already done it. I want to get straight into cards that I think will improve these decks as they're coming out. So the first thing I want to touch on is Falcon Wrath. So Falcon Wrath is a 4/3, 1 a black and a red, a 1/3 legendary creature vampire with haste, so it can attack the turn it comes in, or you can tap it to its tap ability and discard a card and draw a card. And then whenever you discard a card, if it has Madness, you untap Falcon Wrath. The synergies in the deck lean heavily towards the Madness mechanic, although there are some mild reanimator strategies through it. The deck overall, I feel it looks pretty freaking cool, and Falcon Wrath by herself, as far as the Rakdos commander goes, the card advantage that you can get out of this is absolutely insane. I think it's a really solid commander. As far as Vampire Tribal goes, I don't think you're going to be doing too much with that, but being able to rummage and just filter through your deck at an insane speed and just getting value out of all those Madness cards, she could be really, really cool. A couple of the cards that I wanted to bring up here: Scourge Familiar, giving us the ability to choose and discard a card and then add black mana to a mana pool, allowing us to turn our discard into ramp. One of the things that I want to be able to do with this deck, if I was going to build it, would be lean more towards a reanimator style of deck. So you'll have stuff that lets you discard, so more discard synergies, as well as adding in a few more reanimator cards and some more bomb threats that could be useful for that. So looking at Archfiend if near, being able to just blanket -1 encounters onto our opponent's stuff, just being able to repetitively discard, untap her, and keep going. It will leave us more vulnerable to graveyard strategies, but overall I think it could be a really cool way to do it. Stuff like Exhume, Animate Dead, and Reanimate, getting back these big bomb threats, some big bombs that you could add to the deck. Villas, one of the awesome cards to come out of M20. Avatar of Woe, if you want to go old school, or Pestilence Demon, being able to deal damage to opponents and creatures. Cards like Drakoseth or Cut to Ribbons, just being able to deal insane amounts of damage. Drakoseth as another reanimated target, and being able to just immediately pitch Ribbons to the graveyard so that we can Ribbons from the grave as soon as we want. And with some of the worst alternate commanders in this deck specifically, I feel like Crick, Son of Yawgmoth, is an absolute standout for not so much an alternate commander for this deck, but another deck entirely. I feel like it'd be an awesome card to build around. Something going straight into mono black could be insanely, insanely cool, but that is another deck tech all by itself. We have Geared Conclave Exile, which is for 5, 2, and Naya colors, so green, red, white. It's a 2/5 legendary creature shaman. When he enters the battlefield, you create a 4/4 green rhino creature token with trample, and when he attacks, you populate. But his populate's a little bit different because the token that comes in is coming in tapped and attacking. With the populate mechanic and the token generation on ETB, we definitely wanted to be going either really tall or really wide with this deck. Some of the cards that I feel could really help this is stuff like Mycloth, coming in, sacrificing a number of creatures, preferably tokens, to his ability, just generating bulk creatures later on, going super wide. I feel like that's something that could really slot into the deck fairly well. Just touching on the actual deck itself, I feel like this is probably one of the strongest ones coming straight out of the box. Check out the deck in the description, see if you agree with me, but I feel like it's going to be a really strong one straight out of the box. Rise the Redeemed, another card that has insanely good synergies with everything that this deck wants to be doing. It's either going tall or going wide, but Rise is going to be there to be able to generate the tokens and really help us out with our game plan. Stuff like Craterhoof Behemoth, an absolute finisher in the deck, obviously not budget, but it's definitely something that would go in really well again. Arachnogenesis and Finale of Glory, some cards that can generate a huge amount of tokens from seemingly nowhere. With Panharmonicon, Anointed Procession, Primal Vigor, Parallel Lives, and Doubling Season, all being insanely good cards for what the deck is trying to do. Focusing on the ETBs, focusing on mass token generation. There's not a whole lot I do with the deck, but if you had the money and you had the cards, that is definitely a direction I would take the deck in. Just going full tilt on the token plan. Touching on the Sultai Morph deck, we have Kadena, Slinking Sorcerer, which is for 4. It's a 3/3 legendary creature Naga Wizard. The first face down creature spell you cast each turn, it costs 3 less to cast, and whenever a face down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. The synergies in the deck already look pretty good. As far as Morph goes, it's definitely something that's revolving heavily around the Morph. If you want to look at cards that could add to it, you want to be looking towards the stuff that is way back in Magic's history when Morph originally turned up. So you've got stuff like Ixidor, Reality Shaper, being able to flip cards. It also gives Anthems to face down cards. Weaver of Lies, turning morph creatures face down again so that you can unmorph them again, gaining more value out of them. Dermoplasm, Brine Elemental, other really good morph creatures. Primal Whisperer, really, really cool. But one of the things I felt like the deck was really missing was the ability to give your stuff flash, so that we're going to be able to get the value out of Kadena and be able to play stuff for free on everyone's turn, not just our own. So if we can get stuff like Vedalken Ori, Leyline of Anticipation, Yiva, Nature's Herald, or even Teferi, Mage of Zalafair, insanely cool. Being able to go, okay, your turn, okay, I'll play a creature for free. Your turn, yeah, I'll play a creature for free. Your turn, yep, play one for free again. Just getting as much value as we can. The face down creatures, drawing us cards, getting more value out of it, and then comboing the Teferi with something like Knowledge Pool, being able to shut down our opponents. They can't play stuff at sorcery speed. We're the only ones that can play any creatures, and we just lock them out of the game like that. With the black and green and blue in the deck, the tutors that we have are freaking insane. We could be adding in all the black tutors. I'm not going to go over them because there's just too many of them. So just black tutors, being able to search for these combos. If you want to go for the combo side of it, I feel like she could be really, really cool. As a fairly control-y shell, I really think it would work quite well. Touching on the Jeskai flashback deck, we have Savine the Chronoclasm, which is for 5, 2 and Jeskai colors, so blue, red, and white. He's a 2/2 legendary creature, human wizard, with prevent all damage that will be dealt to Savine of the Chronoclasm. And whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery card from your graveyard each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copies. So obviously looking for flashback mechanics with this. Some of the cards that I felt like were missing from the overall deck, I felt like cards like Recoup or Snapcaster could have been really good in this, giving us more flashback value out of our graveyard for cards that didn't even have the flashback mechanic in the first place. A reprint of Snapcaster Mage would have been insanely cool, but sadly we didn't see one. Morale and Goblin Electromancer for just generalized spell discounts could go really well in the deck. I'm surprised neither of them are in there. Catalyst Stone giving us flashback discount, insanely cool. Then you've got cards like Twin Cast, Double Cast, and Reverberate, all of which double up on the copying of spells, seemingly just storming off and going crazy amounts of damage with this. Along the same lines as that is Bonus Round, which gives target player until end of turn, everything they play is getting copied. Fucking insane. Insult to Injury, the insult side of Insult to Injury is what we want, with the deal double damage for the remainder of the turn, and then we kind of just go off and see what we can do. Echo of Aeons and Conflagrate, massive combo potential in the deck. I feel like that would be something that could just work depending on your situation or how you want to build the deck. If you want to be going for more of a storm side of stuff, if you're running creatures, which you could be running a fairly aggressive prowess package in the deck, seize the day, giving us additional combats, and then just rinse and repeat that, being able to give us 3, 4, 5 combats in a turn could be absolutely insane. And finally, the last card that I want to touch on for the addition to the Savine deck would be Ral Storm Conduit. I don't understand why it's not in the deck already. It doesn't make sense to me why it wasn't in the initial deck as it was. If you're going to add any Planeswalker, it would have just made perfect sense for that one to be in there specifically. It has everything that this deck wants to do. You want to be able to filter off the top with the Scry. You're dealing damage every time you're dealing spells, and with something that has such a spells matter synergy, it just doesn't make sense to me that it wasn't this one in the first place. If you agree, disagree with any of the cards that I have here, let me know in the comments. Let me know any cards that you'd want to add and what deck you'd want to add them to. I can't wait to play these decks. It's going to be insane. I can't wait to be brewing up a whole lot more stuff. And I might even be doing some more content with alternate commanders from the Commander 2019 stuff in the future. So look out for that too. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to see new videos as they were released. If you like what I do and you want to support the channel, you can throw me $1 on my Patreon at patreon.com/ZandersQuest. And I will see you guys in the next video. Keep questing, guys.